15 Things You Didn't Know About the Aztecs. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Greetings, Aluxers, and welcome back to Alux.com on YouTube. The Aztec Empire, a once great nation of Mesoamerica, may be long gone today. However, the influence of this ancient culture led to the creation of a modern multi-billion-dollar industry, often depicted as warriors out to drink the blood of their enemies. The Aztec Empire was much more than that. A complex culture with a thriving economy, powerful leaders, and a strict class structure. Alux.com is proud to bring you 15 things you didn't know about the Aztecs. Number 1. The Aztecs used chocolate as currency. The base currency for the Aztecs was cocoa beans, which were brought in the form of lowland areas to the markets. For larger purchases, lengths of cloth called quetzalli were used. For these ranged in value from approximately 60 to 300 cocoa beans. A gold statue weighing around half a kilogram would cost around 250 beans. In some cases, Aztec men would sell their own daughters sometimes as a slave. Other times, for religious sacrifice, this trade would typically be made for 500 to 700 beans. Number 2. Aztec slaves could become free on their own. Slaves were the lowest class among the Aztecs. Almost anyone could end up as one. You could even sell yourself as a slave. In some cases, captives awaiting sacrifice were treated as slaves, sharing all the same rights as its lowest class in the empire. However, unlike other culture slaves in the Aztec Empire, they could gain their own freedom in a number of ways. Aztec slaves were allowed to have their own possessions and even own other slaves. With enough wealth, a slave was able to buy their independence. More shocking is that if a slave was able to escape his or her master and present himself in place of a temple, they would be given freedom. Number 3. The ruling class had an extreme control over education. The Aztecs saw education, the youth, as something of critical importance for the empire. All children went to school separated by sex and family social standing. However, the ruling class had control over the codices, incredible value written accounts of history as well as religious texts. This allowed the rulers of the Aztecs Empire to have complete control over the aspects of religion, history, and culture which were taught to future generations. Number 4. The Aztec cities were connected by roads. These roads through Mesoamerica were all maintained and safe enough for people to travel alone without worry, something that astounded the Spaniards that would eventually destroy the Aztec Empire. These roads were designed completely for foot travel, as draft animals and wheeled vehicles were non-existent in the empire. They even had regular rest stops every 12 or so kilometers. Travelers could rest and eat. Number 5. The most valuable item to the Aztecs would have been the emperor's headdress. These headdresses were largely made of quetzal feathers. While commoners would hold their best cloak or cape as the most precious possession they owned, an imperial headdress was priceless in comparison. A single tail feather of a male quetzal was valued at 2 slaves, placing their market price at a minimum of 1,000 cocoa beans. Given the number of feathers adorning one of these headdresses, they would be worth hundreds of thousands of cocoa beans, the equivalent of hundreds of slaves. Number 6. Aztec markets were incredibly busy places. The market held a central role in Aztec cultures. Farmers sold crops, weavers sold cloth, and merchants would go from city to city making deals and amazing wealth. A slave could even be freed by escaping their master in the market. Oddly enough, helping someone capture an escaping slave was punishment by becoming a slave yourself. It's claimed that in the empire's capital city, Tenochtitlan, on a major market day, they would see around 50,000 people. Number 7. The Aztec language is still spoken today. Even though the empire fell to the Cortes over 500 years ago, many people in Central America still speak a version of the Aztec language. Now referred to as the Nahua people, approximately 1.5 million indigenous people of Mexico and El Salvador speak the Nahuatl language, which was the primary language of the region during the height of the Aztec Empire. Number 8. Mexico City is built on Aztec ruins. Mexico City was founded directly on the top of the fallen Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan. Many of the structure of the Aztec Empire were totally or partially destroyed by the invading Spaniards and replaced by a colonial city. In the recent past, many ruins and artifacts have been discovered in Mexico City. In 1987, while searching for Aztec ruins in the city, archaeologists came across over 1,500 human bones, originating from children, teenagers, and adults alike. Number 9. Montezuma II kept zoos. The royal palaces of Montezuma II was extremely luxurious. Notable features include 20 ponds used as aquariums to house both salt and freshwater fish, and 2 zoos. One zoo of Montezuma's was dedicated entirely to birds of prey, while the other hosted all types of animals. These features of the royal palace of Montezuma were maintained by a crew of approximately 300 people. Number 10. The Aztecs added vanilla to their chocolate drink. When the Aztecs gifted Cortez with chocolate, they also sent him back to Europe with vanilla, initially used only for the chocolate drink that was originally shared with Cortez. In modern times, vanilla can be found in any supermarket and used for a wide variety of food and drink. This delicious little bean is considered one of the most expensive spices in the world. We've covered this in detail in a previous video, which you can check out by clicking the top right corner. Number 11. The Aztecs wanted peace with the Spanish from the start. When Cortez initially entered the Aztec capital, he was treated with an immense amount of respect by all of the people, including being greeted by Montezuma himself upon entering the city. Cortez was given a house to stay in during his visit to Tenochtitlan and was showered with gifts. The Emperor Montezuma went so far as to tell Cortez that anything they needed would be theirs, including all of the gold he wanted. All this was in an effort on Montezuma's part to prevent conflict with the Spaniards, which might have caused nearby aggravated natives to rebel. Number 12. Not really called Aztecs. In modern times, we commonly refer to these people as Aztecs, which was a name given to them by Europeans. The name Aztecs comes from a region the people were thought to have originated from. In truth, the Aztecs referred to themselves as the Mexica people. This is where the name of the modern country of Mexico comes from. Modern Mexico continues to pay respects to this heritage. The central symbol of the Mexican flag represents the founding of the Tenochtitlan, and many statues and museums exist to honor the Aztec people. Number 13. Aztec men practiced polygamy. A man's first wife was considered the principal wife, being the only one where marriage ceremonies took place for the couple. However, according to Aztec records, the wives would have been seen as having an equal status to one another. Wives in the Aztec culture were expected to contribute wealth to the family. As such, having many wives would grant a man great wealth and a great status in the community. Number 14. Aztecs were master rubber crafters. Before the Spaniards ever set foot on the Mexican soil, the Aztecs had developed a massive rubber industry. These master craftsmen were able to make various grades of rubber depending on the purpose of the final product. Unfortunately, rubber is not quite durable enough for many artifacts to exist today. Instead, we have the written accounts of the Spaniards to shed some of the light on the Aztecs and their rubber industry. They reported that the Aztecs commonly used rubber balls for different games, while it was also made into rubber bands and even shoe soles. Number 15. Smallpox played a role in the fall of the Aztecs. One of the soldiers of the infamous Cortez army contracted the disease. It's likely that his soldier was caught and sacrificed, causing the disease to rapidly spread among the people. When the city of Tenochtitlan was razed in 1520, 25% of the empire had died from smallpox, including the emperor and numerous leaders of the Aztec army. With the leadership in ruins, cities destroyed, and countless individuals dead between the Spanish invasion and smallpox, the empire surrendered the courts in August of 1521. The Aztecs treated drinking chocolate as a luxury reserved for priests and royalty. What's your favorite way to enjoy chocolate? Let us know in the comments section below. Did you know there is much debate over whether or not being sacrificed was seen as honorable or not? Evidence suggests that after a major ball game, a sacrifice would take place. However, it is uncertain if it was a member of the losing or the winning team that would be sacrificed. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on social media or ask us questions on our website at Alux.com. Thank you for being an Aluxer.